You are welcome to this episode of my podcast, Win with Ima. And people that have been watching, rather listening to my podcast, will be surprised that we have switched from audio podcast to video podcast. And being the first of its kind, I just want to appreciate everyone that have been listening to my podcast, Win with Ima. And I have found it as an opportunity to be able to use information in order to impart on lives, in order to encourage us, in order to show us some words of wisdom, to give us some words of wisdom that could help us as we continue to navigate through lives. I want to believe that I am not too young to actually do this kind of wonderful section. And I know that I'm not also too old to do this kind of section. Most especially as I'm a kind of person that is very much impact driven. And I want to thank God we started the podcast, like play. We have done the episode one. You can see Win with Man with Ima on the Spotify. As you can see there, you can see it. Win with Ima. Then we have the episode, the first episode. Either you are a youth or you are youthful, and then the other one it is not over, and then the last one I did, it is risky. The reason why I'm showing this is that despite all busy day that I do experience, I believe that if we don't wake up to whatsoever we intend doing with our life and start ensuring that no matter how busy our days are, and we are beginning to do every other thing that we are interested in doing. Like I've always believed that my life is all about imparting other people and ensuring that one way or the other, I'm also imparting my community positively. So either I'm in the business or I am doing any other thing that people knows me for, like things that have to do with godly things. You know, some people see my face and say, "He's a pastor, he's a pastor." Proud. When some people now see me, maybe in the business world, and then we need to engage all various kind of caliber of people, then you must know that we are not talking about religion here. We are not talking about just an individual here, but we are talking about the fact that each and every one of us, we must wake up and then continue to make positive efforts in order to impart on other people's life, in order to impart on our community. And in this edition or episode of my podcast, Win with Ima, I just want to say we are all welcome on board to the video podcast, which I think I've seen reason that it's important that we can actually make this video so that we can be seeing ourselves face to face, even though I do this from the office because there's no other opportunity. We just have to create time in the midst of our busy day and actually do this. Now, the topic I just want to talk about today is talking about in time like this. I'm starting a series called titled In Time Like This. That is the series I want to start. And I don't know how long it's going to take yet, but I will continue to roll the episode by episode by episode. But this series we are starting with this episode of my podcast, Win with Ima, your very beloved brother. So, so this episode is you are going to find it so interesting because I know it is going to be interesting. In a time like this, there are times when times that could come that some of us we might not really prepare for such kind of time. Not necessarily because presently in Nigeria, as at August 2024, it is a tough time for the nation Nigeria. And everyone that are living in the country, Nigeria, know that this is a very, very tough time. A time when we have one of the highest inflation in decades past. A time when a lot of people have to meet you on the highway or on the road, anywhere you go, and then they are begging you for money. A time, yeah, we've always known that people can beg you, people can beg for money. From time to time, we have the beggars and what we can call the usual beggars. I don't want to say professional beggars, so that it won't stand like we are making mockery of people. And I will never do that. I will never do that, because any life God has given to us as individuals, we must believe that the life God has given to us is a privilege. So the life that you are having as an individual, it is a privilege. So, and the life I am having today, where I am today, whatsoever God has helped me or God is helping me to do, it is a privilege. So we are not trying to look down on others. So I don't want to use the word professional. The usual, the kind of beggars that we know on the street beggars. Yeah, I think that's the right word. That's the humble word I would like to use. The street beggars, because not many people that you see that are begging outside there, that are street beggars, that are actually desire what they are doing. It is just the situation that made them to find themselves there. But what am I trying to say? Gradually now, if you go out there, if you step out there in the nation today, because of the difficult time that the nation is finding itself, I am telling you, you keep seeing different people actually begging and begging and begging one way or the other. We keep seeing these people every day. What am I trying to say? This is one of the things that has depicted and made it so clear to every one of us that it is a difficult time that we are facing as a nation. So it is a time when people find it difficult to even keep their daily meal. And some of us, we know responsibility here and there. Things are not funny. So what am I trying to say in terms of financial or otherwise? Things are not funny. And what am I trying to say is that in a time like this, not only now, as a nation, we have faced difficult time in the past. And as an individual, I want to believe you have also faced one difficult time or the other in the time past. It might not be as difficult as that of today, but as people, as human, we will always face difficulties. We will always face hard time. And there's this saying that hard time does not last, but tough time does not last, but tough people actually do. So it is the tough people that actually eventually overcome tough time. But the topic I am introducing, which I'm not actually, I don't know what I'm going to say. I'm commencing it today, but it's just a way of commencing it, but a way of introducing the video podcast. And then we can look at it. Let's just try it out. Let's see how it is looking like. Either we can be doing this or we can return back to the audio. Maybe I'm not actually doing well with the video podcast. But I think it's going to be very exciting, especially for people that have been listening to the podcast. And anyhow, we've been doing it. So I want to believe that you'll be excited to see your brother's face eventually coming live to come and do this with a video. So it is still all about Win with Emma. And the title I want to commence, the topic I want to commence, I want to start talking about in a time like this. So in a time like this, what are the things we should be looking at? In a time like this, what should we be doing? In a time like this, are we to be begging? In a time like this, are we to be praying? In a time like this, are we to go and climb our story buildings? In a time like this, are we to go and lock ourselves up somewhere? In a time like this, what kind of mentality should we carry? So in a time like this, in a time when things are difficult, in a time when there are several challenges, when you are combining home challenges with work challenges, you combine career challenges, various kind of challenge, marital challenges. You know, when you combine all of these things together, what are we supposed to be doing at a time like this? What are we supposed to be doing at a time like this? And may I tell you, every time comes with their own difficult side, and every difficult and hard situation also present their own opportunities. So, but all I'm trying to say, and what I want to say, in order to wrap up this section, you know, the podcast, I don't always want it to be a long session. I always want it to be a very brief section, 15, less than 20 minutes. This has always been my goal, my target, that in less than 20 minutes, I can be able to deliver a point that can actually speak to someone, that can actually speak to someone's heart, that can actually encourage someone or strengthen someone with the information that I'm providing. So now, at a time like this, when things are difficult, one thing I want to drop with us today as I close today's edition of the podcast, now that we are actually coming on the video podcast, is that this is not a time to cry. I want to say this is not a time to cry or feel disappointed about yourself. This is not a time when you need to begin to go and be crying somewhere. You hide in a place where no one can see you, and then you are just crying, and you are like, why am I born in the nation Nigeria? Why am I born in Africa? Because not only Nigeria is facing difficulties at this time, there are other countries in Africa. So, you know, like Nigeria has been recognized at some point as the poverty headquarters of the world. So what are we talking about? This is not a time to be mourning and then feeling dejected and rejected, like, why am I born in this place? The reality is that you cannot choose where you are going to be born, the nation where you are going to be born. If all of us are to choose the nation where we are going to be born, definitely, maybe I am going to choose America. Because when they ask one of the great men, you know, the billionaires of the world, and they ask him that, how come, how did you do it that you are able to come this far in life? I'm talking about the man Bill Gates, who is one of the people like us will try to follow so that we can get some information that can help our life as we continue to charge on towards the future. They asked the man, he said, he want to thank God for his family, his parents, then he want to thank God for America. So you might not be born in America, but now that you find yourself, because you can't choose your country, you find yourself in Nigeria, you find yourself in Africa, you do not need to be crying about. And this is not a time to feel like it is all over, even though there are difficulties, even though there are pains, even though there are challenges that are standing like mountains. Yes, we have to acknowledge the fact that there are difficulties, but this is not a time to be crying. And this is what I want to say today. It is not a time to be crying. It is not a time to just think like it is all over, that the life is already a wasted life. Either you are a youth, you are a young man, like the first episode of my podcast, the audio one, youth or youthful. Either you are youthful or you are a youth. This is not a time to be crying. This is not a time to be living a pitiful life, but you just need to begin to reason and begin to think, what can you do next? What can you do next? That's the big question I want you to ask. Now, I'm going to be talking further about in a time like this. Just begin to ask questions. What can I do next? What step can I do next? I want to believe that everything has not come to an end for you. Everything has, career-wise, financially, maritally, your family, whatsoever, in every areas of life, everything, it has not come to an end. So I want to say, this is not a time to cry. This is not a time to cry. So stop crying. I want you to encourage yourself. I want you to just ask questions. Begin to ask questions. What can I do next? What can I do next? Now, either you want to ask this question in the place of maybe you are praying, or you want to ask this question on the internet, or you want to ask this question anywhere you want to ask this question, that you begin to find answer to this question. It is the time for you to begin to ask questions. What can I do next? And then when you can provide a list of what you can do next, solutions to the problem, you can now list this solution and begin to look at which one is the most affordable solution that I can take, the next step I can take now, the next positive step that I can take now. What am I trying to say? And as you begin to do all of this, you begin to see door openings. As you begin to knock doors, you begin to see doors openings. And then you will realize that, well, you can still live even in the midst of a difficult time. There's still hope even in the midst of a difficult time. Something good can still come out of a bad time. So I want to pause it here because we are just starting the video podcast. And like I said, I want to maintain the less than 20 minutes. I hope I have not passed my 20 minutes focus. So thank you for actually watching. And I will see you in the next episode. I'm still your own Emmanuel Olusegun, the co-founder at the Easy Commerce Limited, where we train people how to leverage a smartphone in order to make money for themselves. So if you want to have a training on this, you can reach out to me personally. I am going to show you how you can make use of this smartphone in order to start making money for yourself. That is what our company does. And I'm a leader in the company, and then we'll be ready to help you in one way or the other in order for you to be able to make use of the smartphone. So let's leave that one alone. It is still all about in a time like this, and I'm going to see you in the next edition, in the next episode of the podcast, where I am going to be breaking this down further. Thank you, and see you in the next episode of the podcast. Bye-bye for now.